Travis Hunter winning, the Heisman Trophy over Ashton Jeanty, who arguably just had the best college football running back season we've ever seen with 2,500 yards, 29 rushing touchdowns. Absolutely insane year for the Boise State Broncos. We know they're the number 4 seed in this first 12-team college football playoff bracket. So give me some of your thoughts on your initial reaction to Travis Hunter winning the Heisman Trophy over Ashton Jeanty, who really kind of felt like the best and most dominant player in college football this year, and the production spoke for itself.
You're right. You're absolutely right. So, no shocker, right? Travis Hunter was the best player, like two-way player. This is the first Heisman candidacy we've seen a two-way player in.
Right.
So, no shocker there. But also, let's be real for just a minute. Any other season, no Travis Hunter, Ashton Jeanty wins this Heisman Trophy because he had better numbers than Mark Ingram in 2009 when he beat the Texas Longhorns in that national championship.
Yep.
And let's face it, Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry, 2 deserving running backs that deserve that award. Ashton Jeanty had better numbers than both of them.
Right.
And also,
and it wasn't hard to see.
I think he rivaled Barry Sanders.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Barry did it
because Barry's the GOAT, right?
Right. Barry did it in 11. And then if you add Barry's kind of postseason, I guess, for what it was back then in college football, he had about 3,000 yards. And Ashton Jeanty is probably going to, barring that they go past the first round bye as status, they're probably going to run, he's probably going to get to that 3,000 yard mark or close to it. Yeah, it's 500 yards. Yeah. But in 3 games with the way he's been playing, he could definitely do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He could definitely do it.
And Barry Sanders is a GOAT, right? He's the best Oklahoma State Cowboy of all time. It's not contested. Stillwater holds him in a high regard. Ashton Jeanty, don't hang your head, man. Right. You've won an award, I think, after the
Maxwell
Awards. Yeah, he won the Maxwell Award
and the Doak Walker, which of course,
exactly, the Doak Walker is really important as well. So don't hang your head, man.
Right.
We were all expecting Travis Hunter in the last 3 weeks to win this award.
Yeah,
but no Travis Hunter. Ashton Jeanty wins this landslide victory over Dylan Gabriel and co. Because this is the first running back we've seen in a long time that of this caliber.
Mm-hmm.
This is up there with Barry Sanders, Bo Jackson, Mark Ingram, Reggie Bush,
Williams, Eddie George.
Yes, we're going to talk about him later. I'm going to bring him up later, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that's great.
And Derrick Henry, King Henry, man. These are some of the best running backs in modern history, to my mind. And Ashton Jeanty, right up there with him.
100%.
Don't hang your head, bro. Love what you did. Love what you did for our sport.
Right. And before I take off, do you think Ashton Jeanty was robbed?
It's really hard to say. All right, so I'm going to go 50-50 here. Part of me thinks he was robbed. Part of me thinks that Travis Hunter deserved the award because he's a two-way player.
Yeah.
And I don't think like the masses do, where it's like, oh, Coach Prime coached him, so he's the GOAT. Mm-hmm. No, this man was winning awards last year with Colorado, right? In 2023. He was already winning college football awards then. And he's won them again in 2024. So I'm not going to negate anything Travis Hunter has done on the field. But with that being said, it could have went either way, and I'd have been perfectly happy. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, very good takes there, man. I'll start from kind of the bottom and then go to the top. I do feel like Ashton Jeanty was robbed. It came down to, the Heisman by definition is the most outstanding player in college football. And when you look at what Ashton Jeanty did all year, to me, he was the most outstanding player in college football. 2,497 rushing yards, 29 touchdowns. And when you compare that to the past Heisman running back winners of Derrick Henry, like you said, who had less rushing yards and one less rushing touchdown, when you look at his numbers comparing with Reggie Bush, who is argued as the best college football player of all time, We talked about Ricky Williams a little bit just now in comparison. We talked about the Eddie Georges. You can kind of hold him in the same Barry Sanders conversation.
Right.
When you look at, I literally have it pulled up right here. Ashton Jeanty through 11 games had 7.5 yards a carry, 2,062 yards, and 27 touchdowns. That was over Reggie, that was over Mark Ingram, and that was over Derrick Henry. So, like you said, if Travis Hunter does not exist, or if it's not, just even playing this two-way, then this is Ashton's award, which feels kind of weird to say, right? Because it's like, oh, Adam, saying that if Travis Hunter didn't exist and Ashton wins. Of course I am. But I do believe that this award, it came down to best, most productive player to unprecedented. And now snaps played is really being used as an argument for Travis Hunter, which I totally understand. But what running back wants to come out and run for 2,500 yards and almost 30 touchdowns and not win the Heisman?
Can I add
9 out of the last
here?
11 Heisman winning running backs also won the Maxwell, which Ashton Jeanty won. Now, you have to be a little careful because you have, the different sets of voters. You have the Maxwell, and then I think there's another award, which is like best player in college football. Then you have the Nagurski Award and there's another defensive player award. So, you got to be a little careful, right? But if you would have told me, Adam, there's going to be a running back this year, 2,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, I'm like, he's getting Heisman votes, if not winning it. And I said at the beginning of the year, Ashton will have to run for 2K and 20 tubs to do it. And he blew it out of the water and still didn't get it. So I think he was robbed. I'm not taking anything away from Travis. Travis was top 5 in catches, yards, touchdowns in the Power 4. He had an amazing passer rating allowed. He had an amazing coverage grade. He was almost on an island by himself.
Yes.
So I love all of that. But it's a little weird because he gets best offensive player in college football, but he's not a finalist for the Thorpe.
Yeah.
But he wins the Heisman, but he doesn't win the Maxwell. It's weird when you're dealing with a unicorn like a Travis Hunter, like a Shohei Ohtani in baseball, but yeah, just kind of my 2 cents on it.
Caveat there.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So, look, we know that the Heisman Trophy has been a quarterback award for the better part of a decade outside of Devontae Smith.
Yeah. And Devontae earned it like hell that year.
And we had 2 non-quarterbacks in the hunt this year. 1 and 2 being Travis Hunter and Ashton Jeanty. That alone, I'm happy. But 9 out of 10 times I agree with you there. And the only reason I think, and I know I'm going to get, roasted, that Travis Hunter got it was the media exposure and the prowess that he got.
Hell yes.
Because of fucking, excuse me.
That's okay.
Because of Coach Prime. No disrespect to Coach Prime, one of the best DBs to ever play the game. He was right when he said, "Oh, players earned their numbers back then." I know you probably saw that interview. If you had a single-digit number, you were a GOAT, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he was number 21. In the league, but number 2 in college.
Right.
So players earn their numbers. And, Dion was a great corner.
Yep.
And
guys, I see we got 12 of y'all on YouTube talking Travis Hunter winning the Heisman currently. I'm sure all 12 of you are not subscribed. Y'all make sure to go to the channel, subscribe. Please like this video. Please share. Get in the comments. I'm sure we got some new viewers in there. Appreciate y'all for showing us love.
Right. And that's really all I have to say about it, outside of the media prowess, because let's face it, Colorado's been heavily covered ever since Coach Prime took the reins at Colorado.
For sure.
And wherever he goes next. And because I think he'll go to another FBS school later on.
Right.
Whether it's next season or in a couple seasons from now, he'll take the reins somewhere else.
Right.
Or he could be an analyst somewhere in the NFL.
Right. I see Prime being like a college guy for,
I hope so.
You know what I mean? Colorado hasn't been anything really for the last however long. Prime comes in, has these guys flirting with a possible 4 or 12 seed in the CFP playoff if they take care of business down the stretch in the Big 12.
And the Nolan me loves Prime. Even though he disrespected us a little bit on the public stand, he's like, "Oh, I graduated from HBCU." He's like, "Bobby Bowden made you into the player you are."
Mm-hmm.
Accept that. Acknowledge that.
Yep.
Outside of that, I have no problem with Coach Prime.
Right.
But anyways, Ashton Jeanty, That is my favorite player this season.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve the award,
Right.
but he was in a way you can make a case. He was robbed. Absolutely.
Right. Right. I mean, when you come in and you compete with you're mentioned in the name of the last 3 running back Heisman winners, one of which is considered the greatest college football player of all time.
Yeah.
And because
Reggie
a
Bush.
gentleman who was pretty good at playing both sides of the ball in the positions that he did, I don't necessarily think he was elite at either side,
I don't think
respectfully.
he's Charles Woodson.
I don't know if he should have really won the Biletnikoff, but the wide receiver field isn't all that, heavy this year. Maybe you could have gave it to a guy like T-Mac or maybe to a guy like Nick Nash out of San Jose State, which we've seen some rumblings about. But I
Right.
just,
Absolutely.
I feel for Ashton Jeanty not being able
I
to
do
bring this
too.
one home,
My
man.
heart
I'm
aches
not
for him.
taking anything away from Travis. I think he's earned it. I'm excited to see him potentially go, top 3, maybe not, maybe number 1 in the draft next year, and just really see kind of the hype of, is he a wide receiver? Is he a corner? Is an NFL team going to let him entertain really both positions? I don't think so. I think he can
Right.
primarily be one and then have packages for the other position,
Another
but
right.
we'll see how that goes. A lot of
And
people are
sparse
saying
plays.
corner, then he'll be like a 3rd string receiver kind of thing, because it's easier to find packages for a receiver than it is necessarily for a corner. But that'll be more to be desired as the NFL draft comes up